There is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you.
We are the change that we seek.
Surround yourself only with people who are going to take you high.
I'm rooting for everybody
Black.
black.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Kelvin Carter, and welcome to Our Conversations, a show where we, Black panelists, will talk about our Black conversations. So, starting with introduction of the panelists, I'm going to start with my left, and we have Nikki Ritchie from Los Angeles, California, graduated from Voorhees College with a mass communications degree in 2015. Also graduated from Full Sail University public relations degree. Everybody say hello to Nikki.
Hello, Nikki.
All right, and we have Varel Hawkins here from Arkansas, graduated from North Carolina A&T University from 2010 with an engineering degree. Everybody say hello to Varel. All right, and we have Jason Monk, also a graduate from North Carolina A&T from Baltimore, Maryland, and graduated 2006. What was your degree, Jason?
Electrical engineering.
Electrical engineer, another engineer. All right, now to my right, we have Paris Akin Jackson from Morgan State University, 2018 with a PhD. What's your degree?
Psychometrics.
Psychometrics.
Okay.
All right. And we have Tyler, graduate from University of Southern California.
Yes, USC Trojan for life.
Trojan, I guess. And these three are from Los Angeles, another Los Angeles. He is from Beverly Hills, let's say exactly. Graduated in 2012 with a degree in urban planning, community development. And we have our final panelist named India Bailey from Greensboro, North Carolina. North Carolina, raise the roof. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Graduated from Johnson C. Smith with a degree in, what was your degree, India?
Computer science and information systems.
Computer science. All right. So, we're going to start off our conversation by first asking everybody. I'm going to give you the definition. Unapologetically is a manner that does not acknowledge or express regret. The question is, what does unapologetically black mean to you? Starting with India to my right.
Okay, what's the question again?
Unapologetically black. What does that specific term means to you?
Just being who you are, just being carefree, just not necessarily carefree, but being who you are from the roots of,
The roots of
like your parents, your grandparents, just the way you were raised, like if you were black, like, you know what I mean, not changing that, but just keeping to your roots and things like that.
So people with white roots in their black history.
No, I mean, unapologetically. Sometimes when it's hazy, sometimes when you come from different roots, I guess.
Okay. What about
Coming from southern background, but
from the South, North Carolina? What about you, AJ?
I was thinking about what you were saying. I love that you touched on roots because I was specifically thinking about the only thing that sort of brings us together as Black people in this country is this historical experience that we've had of slavery. Besides that, we're all just people with a tan who descend from the same continent. But that particular experience is something that we've shared, that is so ingrained that it's created cultural experiences. And so being unapologetically Black for me would have to be respecting that legacy, deciding to stand up and advocate for those legacies, also to project a future for other generations that are in alignment with those roots that you talk about. May that be principles of togetherness or truth telling, because we know our folk like to tell some stories. or whatever that may be for an individual. But that would have to be unapologetically Black for me.
So my question is this: me growing up from the South, I was taught my Southern roots because the South is usually where most of the people migrated from. So Nick, question for you, coming from Los Angeles, do y'all from Los Angeles are you taught the same roots as us from the South?
Definitely not. So first off, you say being unapologetically Black means like showing up without that mask on. It's like I'm here. I don't have my telephone voice on. I don't have my.
You're not close.
Oh, can I speak to customer service? Like no,
Right.
I'm me at all times, no matter where I'm at. I
Right.
can wear my nails. My nails aren't long this week, but normally my nails are long. My hoops are moderate today. Usually I have really big on hoops on. That's me. That's what you're gonna get. I don't care. But going to school in the South and then being raised in Los Angeles, I feel like we were taught a little bit differently because in the South, I feel like they have this stigma, not saying all Southern people, but they have this stigma of being complacent. And like when I went away, I left like 2 weeks after high school. Like I just I'm out of this bitch. Bye.
Right.
But when I got to the South, everybody was from South Carolina, and I'm just like, y'all don't want to go from here.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
y'all, and they have this roots that I need to stay home. I have to be close to family because if you leave, then you're turning your back on family. Wow, that's crazy. You mean I'm turning my back on you because I want to go better myself?
I agree with that. I mean, I get that backlash now. So. That's crazy.
Jason, coming from Baltimore, from the north to the south, and now you live in California. Tell me about your difference. Did you experience the difference in Black culture from those 3 different locations?
First of all, I know you Southerners love to think that Baltimore is the North. Okay,
It is.
just because it's
We're
above the
just-
Mason-Dixon
we're just
line
south of the
don't
Mason-Dixon
mean
line,
it is
but-
mid-Atlantic.
So
Y'all
when
try
you get
it,
above
the
DC, I consider above DC
It's
the
like
north.
20 miles above DC.
Okay.
What is the differences in
From Baltimore to the south to LA.
Okay, what's the differences in Black first? Well, in Baltimore's a majority Black city. I didn't really. It wasn't. I mean, I just knew being around Black people. It really wasn't like anything to distinguish from. When I went to HBCU in North Carolina, that's when I really started to understand that Blacks came from different places and it's people from out. Because one of the first things I remember is like people speaking to me. We didn't do that in Baltimore. I didn't know you. You didn't just speak to somebody, greet them, all that type of stuff. Coming over here, I didn't really get a sense of Black community until it's real segregated over here. When I first moved out here, I moved to Pasadena. I didn't see Black people like that. It was actually a culture shock for me. Coming to Leimert Park area, it's Black people here, but I don't know how to explain this. It's just segregated. I'm not used to that. That was the differences, I guess.
Compared to Baltimore is
The whole city, like
whole
Black city for the most part. So
nigga town in Baltimore.
I mean,
Chocolate City.
yeah.
All right, so Tyler,
Yes, sir.
what does unapologetically Black mean to you, bro?
Unapologetically Black.
Because you from Beverly Hills, so you were around nothing but whites.
I mean, I was the only Black kid in my grade till about 6th grade, so that was different. Unapologetically Black really meant being like alone for a long time. So it was a tough like balancing that because you still need to socialize, but as I've gotten older and stepped out of kind of that old school way of thinking, unapologetically Black just means like she was saying, like just being yourself. What you were saying, not having that mask on, regardless of kind of what the cost is. But I do have a child, so it's tough to go what might be considered too far. But I don't really know what too far is, especially with like the circumstances we have today with what's going on, all these hate crimes. We got these mass shootings. Nobody wants to admit white supremacy is behind it, and like unapologetically Black. Like what are the new limits to that? So I'm trying to figure that out.
I think that's the good part of it. Being unapologetically Black, there is no too
There
far.
is no way.
Because it's like the job that I just left, I'm not gonna say the only like real black person, but it's like I didn't give a shit. I don't give a fuck what none of these white people had to say to me. Don't play with me like that,
Right.
you know? And I got, you're so angry. I ain't angry. You just ain't gonna fucking talk to me like you stupid.
Right.
Because the moment I allow you to keep doing it and doing it, I'm holding it in. I'm holding it in. Or I'm allowing you to do it. Now you think it's okay. The moment I snap, I'm angry. Did you not see the levels you took me there?
Right.
But because I never said anything, because I was always like, oh, I don't want to get angry black girls. I'm just not gonna say anything. You're fucking me up. You're fucking up my mental. Now you're messing up your mental state. Yeah. And so now, and you don't even realize it, you're bringing it home. Because you're so upset at the world because you're not showing up you're not saying anything. It's like a relationship. Don't leave the toilet seat up. And if I don't ever tell you, one day I'm gonna fall in the toilet and I'm gonna lose my shit. And you're gonna be like, well, why didn't you say anything? So now I'm mad at you and like you're continue to do something. And it's like, every little thing you do pisses me off now. Yeah, there was because I never said anything, so you don't know. So you can't not say, especially with a child, you have to allow them to see it's okay. If somebody does something, if somebody does not respect you, you have to say it. Because then they're gonna think like, that's how I grew up. My mama don't care, so I don't care. But my dad was one like, oh, you should know. Hell no.
So my question, Tyler, are you teaching you said daughter?
Yeah.
Are you teaching your daughter to be proud about being black?
Absolutely. I consider her African American, even though she's light skinned. Her mom's mixed. So I definitely think that it's important for her to embrace that. She goes to a predominantly African American school with predominantly African American staff, and I definitely think that's important because you have to know yourself. My mom made sure to keep us in touch, but there's a lot of kids that go through those situations, and the interesting thing is those are a lot of the black people that are moved into positions of power. And so there were a lot of opportunities that I had to move into positions of power if I were to have stayed in my place. But because that just kind of wore on me over time, I just had to pass up on a lot of those opportunities to create my own. But I wouldn't change it because it's just you can't stay in that way. There's just too much. You hit the wall. You keep hitting the wall where it's like, okay, I'm this person, so I can get this access. And then in reality, it doesn't feel good. And then they try to alienate certain types of black people that are quote unquote chosen and selected from black people who are rooted. And if those black people ever got the chance to have a conversation without walls and barriers, there's a connection, and then it just brings them over, and they both have so much to offer. So she definitely needs to, I want her to have the intelligence, but I don't want her to ever, forget about the passion and the hunger that comes from, the black struggle. So I want to give her things, but I also don't want her to be given too much. So it's always a balancing act. Yeah.
Any comments from anybody?
I do want to, not specifically about your daughter, because I tend to think that's an intuitive thing. And although culturally we tend to be raised in similar ways because of our historical experiences, no one can tell you how to raise a kid. That's something you only feel in the moment, and there are going to be moments when it goes against even your perception of blackness because you need to protect her for different reasons. So I have no comment on that one because that honey, that's your life. But I do want to build on this notion of taking the mask off, because I also think there's a mask that black people wear with black people, that there's a sort of disconnect spiritually to who we're really supposed to be, and then we end up putting on a black mask with each other that perpetuates sort of disgusting patterns and violence and disrespect of each other, from everything to the way that we interact with each other to the way we consume things in our neighborhoods. I mean, I hate that fucking place right there, that McDonald's that I think is a terrorist organization that targets specifically black people with their commercials, ba-da-ba-ba-ba, shit like that they know we're gonna gravitate towards because it's fucking $1. We have to take off those masks too to be able to see that they are poisoning us and they are dictating the way we interact and love with each other. So it's not just the white world that we need to get protective on. We need to get protective on our spirit with each other, because we can't keep perpetuating unapologetically blackness that perpetuates death in our communities.
In 1969, James Brown released a hit single, hit album actually, called Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud. Burrell, my question is to you. What does it mean to you to be I'm Black and I'm Proud? That saying. And do you feel like back in the 60s, late 60s, the Black Panther came out in Oakland, California, and Black people were so black and proud and expressed it openly. Do you feel like today we still express that same proudness of being Black?
I think this is something I've been considering myself like recently. Like I literally just saw a video about like an old meeting. Like everybody knows how like Black people used to have meetings, and like the people who were speaking would sound like so intelligent, but they would be speaking like so rapidly as well. And I just tweeted this maybe 2-3 days ago, and I was like, no one talks like this anymore. And the guy was literally saying like a new word that I didn't know, like probably every five words. Yeah. So I guess just the Black and the proud thing. Like I feel like we are still like proud people, but I'm not sure if it's just a Black thing or just like the population itself and how technology is kind of like helping you like not have to be as smart. But I just think like the level of intellectuals like is not as widespread as it used to be. Like even like to me it doesn't even matter if you went to college or not. It's just like things aren't as progressive as they used to be. It seems like I don't know if like we just become comfortable or what the case is, but yeah, the proudness is still there. I do feel like people are still happy to be who they are, but there's a lot of other issues going on that kind of distract us as well. So
Issues like what? Give me one example, real quick.
So issues such as the president, I'll put that one out there. That's the only one I want to say right now. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now moving to India. India, what does it mean to be Black and proud to you? Because I see you with that nice hat on, so you just represent
Blackness. I mean, to be Black and proud, I mean, it's everything. It's like everything about being Black is just dope. That just makes me proud. Just the flavor, the style, just the way you can code switch. Like I can come in here and talk to you guys in whatever type of language, and then go in the office and talk to them in their language, quote unquote. But I mean, it's like, that's dope. Like you can't, everybody wants to, I won't say that everybody don't want to be Black, but most people.
Everybody want to be nigga. Everybody want to be nigga.
Jason, what about you?
Could you repeat the question?
What being Black and proud, what does it mean to you, and are we still today expressing that Black and proudness as they did in the 69?
Being Black and proud to me is just really simply just being yourself. I mean, I don't know how it is to be nothing else but Black, like for myself.
But are you proud?
The proud part, well, I do have a comment I wanted to make, and I don't know if it goes with this one or the last statement that you said, but I have an example of when I wasn't unapologetically Black, or I would say Black and proud. And this was a recent example. I'm usually for most of my career, I've been like the only Black person at my job, or whatever field I'm in. So recently with the Nipsey Hussle memorial, I didn't take off, and it's something that I actually regret, like not doing. And my reason for not taking off is I was like, oh, I'm probably like, I'm already Black, I'm the only one in here, and like take it off of what they call a gangsters like memorial. I live like right, in Lamert Park, so to me it really hurt me afterwards to not like be a part of that. So I think that was an example of when I wasn't unapologetically Black, standing up or being proud about it. So
Was it because your community was all there, or?
It was more so me worrying about my job and the perception there. But looking back at it, I could have used that as a teaching moment for them. You know, because then like weeks later there was like some, I don't know what holiday it was, but some Armenian thing. I worked out Glendale, and that's like
Right.
that they run that, so everybody was off of that. You know, and I was like, dang, I should have, you know,
Yeah.
like looking back at it, but I do regret that. But I could have, you know, that was the time I wasn't.
So I have a word called saving face.
Mhm.
That means when you're trying to put on a face for different reasons. So you saying that for your job, you didn't want to participate because of your job. And I know that you also have that incident, that issue where you don't want to be, I'm not going to say this now, this is exactly what, but you don't want to show too much of your blackness because it might jeopardize, I don't know, your work.
Your income, yeah.
But, and then you mentioned that you, at your job, just didn't give a fuck. And there's some people who don't. So why do you care compared to someone who don't care?
Well, I have when my daughter was born a couple years ago, it definitely changed the amount of risk I was willing to take at work and in the Unapologetically Blackness. So that's why I was gonna kind of say earlier, and that's why I'm glad we came to this, was what is our response supposed to be when there's that economic reprisal that they give? You know, like when they, you know, because there's a bunch of people getting, you know, fired from their jobs for no reason. And some people, usually like the college educated people, some of us know how to float. We know how to get a gig. We know how to make it work. Whereas like some people don't have that education. And so when we try to say to them, hey, go and be unapologetically black, but you have to pay your own bills, you know, and it's on you. Like with the Nipsey thing, like I saw the Nipsey thing like at work. I didn't say anything. Like I saw it, I felt my own emotions inside, you know, and I grieved, but I didn't let them know like that I was grieving with, you know, because when you start acting like, you know, like you were saying, like they start responding in a different way, and then I found myself, you know, being more isolated at the job, especially like when Dave Chappelle's old stand-up routine came out, and like they saw it and they were like, man, I don't know what, you know, because I have you know certain belief systems, and I thought what he said was right in line with a lot of things, and so when they didn't like it and the reasons they didn't like it, I was like, me and you guys are on different sides of the spectrum. So like when you're trying to balance it with work, you want to make sure you get paid, but mainly when my daughter came, like the amount of risk that I took, they definitely went down to a certain degree. I can't even say it didn't. Yeah.
I sort of think the mask is a part of being unapologetically black. Like it's not so black and white. Sometimes you shape shift your blackness in order to be in different spaces. That's a real authentic black experience. You change the way you talk. I'm blessed enough that I have enough control over my career where I engage mostly black people, and I am definitely spoiled at UCLA that I see mostly black people every day, all day, because of the departments I work in. But even when I do interact with others, I call, I know which face I want to put on for them because that's a part of blackface. Like, this is what you gonna get today. And it might be that you gonna get South Central West Boulevard and 28th AJ. Or you might get PhD AJ. But all of that is a part of being black. All of those faces are black faces.
Pharrell, do you have a separate face that you put on?
No, this is my face all the time.
I do remember I had a conversation with you, and you said you don't discriminate. You know, everything is everything.
Yeah, so I have a different Southern experience from a lot of people here. However, I did grow up with good people around me who always told me that you have to make sure that you work twice as hard as everyone around you. And that's something that stuck with me throughout life. And so, especially when I got in the corporate world, like you notice, like, I don't know, you walk into a major office and people kind of, I don't know, stepping aside, like they're afraid of you or something like that, or I don't know. It's like you just kind of, you learn from it and try to make more people comfortable around you so that you're not all of a sudden the big black scary guy in the room. And all the work that you put up front, it doesn't get you kicked out the door just for some perceptions that may not be true. So, do I have faces I put on? I don't know, but I do adapt to my situation to make sure that I can be successful and go where I want to be.
What's funny is that I can be around a group of white people and have the biggest, whitest smile, and people will think I'm like the nice person, but I'm still known as that big, black, scary guy.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then no matter how nice I am or I talk to them, I'm still
Right.
looked at as that scary black guy. So, Nikki, tell me about your black and proud moments.
Okay. First off, I want to say I am unapologetically black all the time, but I don't always give it that way. I do hand it nicely on a beautiful plate. I will, like a little. It's like a backhanded compliment. Like, you really got me fucked up. Why? So I don't try to think like I'm with the shits all the time. I think. Am I black and proud? I am. But I feel like sometimes it's forced on me. Like, I have to be, like, if I want to wake up sad and upset because my curls aren't coming out right, well, damn it, I have that responsibility. Like, that's okay, But I feel like sometimes being black, I feel like we're forced to be happy to be black. And that's my privilege as a black woman, that I realize that I don't have to be proud every single day. I don't have to be I'm not a Black Panther, I don't have to wake up and I'm like, that's unrealistic. To be happy in yourself, in your body, at every single moment. Because like you said, when you walk past white people or people that aren't black, they give you that stare regardless. Regardless. I grew up Slauson-Mobile my entire life. Like, literally, I've always been in this community, and we can talk about that later, gentrification. But I don't know if y'all been to Sashi's. Oh, I love Sashi's.
Shout out to Yeez. I feel like Yeez.
Yeah, oh my God. I love it. I had it for lunch today. Anyway, I was in there, and it was all of us, and some white people walked in, and all of a sudden, like, they're looking at us like, what are you doing? I live here. What you mean? And it hurt to not be proud and that's like, it's a yucky feeling.
Absolutely.
Can I add a few?
Yeah.
So I thought about some more points to make on the black and proud thing. I have a really good background for what blacks have done in the U.S., African Americans have done in the U.S., and that was really instilled in me like throughout my whole grade school life, like even around home, like all the history in this in Arkansas, from Little Rock Central 9 to even seeing a KKK walk in my city, like do some little things. They didn't do anything with a lot of black people around. But so I really grew up with a lot of history, and I can't see how black people cannot be proud. Like, especially just knowing all the stuff that we've been through, how we overcame, and still, like, from entertainment to engineering, all these different things, like, even from stuff simple as streetlights. All these things that black people have invented and continue to invent and spread culture throughout the world, where people are still trying to, like, take or use things that we've created, even till this day. Like, it's really, if you really know what we've been through and what we actually done and how we still, like, even after all these different ways people keep knocking us down, from burning of great cities, from Tulsa to Durham. I mean, if you know how we keep on just progressing, even though, and overcoming, even though we keep having all these different hurdles, like, it's really hard to sit there and say, no, I'm not proud of someone or a group of people who were able to continue striving.
So speaking about entertainment, in 2017, the 69th Emmy Awards, Issa Rae was on the carpet, and her comment she made to a reporter was, "I'm rooting for everybody black."
Who are you rooting for tonight?
I'm rooting for everybody black. I am. Betting on black tonight.
I loved it. When she did it, I was just like, heck yeah, I'm real too. But what I realized was that Insecure was a platform that allowed her to tell her stories from her own her own personal experiences. There are other people who had that opportunity, like The Shy, Snowfall, Blackish, Atlanta, Power, Queen Sugar. People like Beyonce performing at the Super Bowl, halftime Super Bowl in 2016, or her doing her 2018 Coachella. She did the HBCU experience. We are now being recognized for our Black experiences in entertainment. My question is, do you think now is the time for us to all stand up and say, I'm rooting for everybody Black? Or do we have a lot more work to do? Go ahead. Go ahead, Ms. AJ. Look like you scratching for an answer. Go ahead.
Here's my disclaimer with conversations, period. So there are certain things I don't discuss with others and certain things I discuss with us. So I just want to apologize, period, if others take what I have to say in a different context.
But this is our show.
Yeah,
so
very true. But you know how it could be people quoting, you know what I'm saying? So I just want to say, because there are always conversations I wanted to just have with Black people, which are real talk conversations that I would never, ever, ever Stacey Dash us and bring others, because that's not for their conversation. But while we can root for everyone Black, there are a lot of Black people I would send back.
You would send back?
We would trade them over.
You would trade?
I would trade them. I would give them up. I would leave them behind. I would do all kind of things. I can't stand some Black people. And I particularly can't stand Black people who are obsessed. You know, I've been making like jokes all night tonight about people who get so stagnant and angry in their Blackness because of the trauma they've been through and haven't been able to really work through it, that they want to spread hatred. So I'm one of them Black people who want justice for everybody. I'm not one of them Black people who need Black people to show up in line for justice first and then everybody can get a piece later. I don't fucks with that kind of vision. So I'm gonna need my LGBTIQQA community to also get justice with us, not after us, not in the next coming, but with us. I'd rather work with my Latinx community to get justice, not just Black people get what they need and fuck these other motherfuckers. So, and there are a lot of Black people who feel like that, like Black first, meaning everybody Black means fuck everyone else, they're behind us. And as far as I'm concerned, they're a part of us, because I haven't seen a social justice movement where they haven't showed up in the line to stand up for us as well. So I'm not about to leave them behind when the others, the real others, can address all of our damn problems together, not in a list, not later in another decade, in another generation, fix all of our issues now.
I gotta say I disagree a little bit, because I definitely agree with the Black first mindset, because growing up in Beverly Hills, I saw a Jewish first mindset like all day, every day. And so when we go to these other restaurants, Hispanic, Korean, Japanese, doesn't matter, who you hire is super important. That to me is a huge statement. And there are certain Korean business owners who absolutely understand the Black community, understand to respect them, and you can tell by the way they treat you when you go get some food or whatever. But then there's other people who just, and we're talking, I mean, I'm half Caribbean, and there are members of my family that absolutely have like racist ideas about Black people that are African American descendants. And there's such a big, there's just a huge difference in dynamic between certain people in the Black community. So all skin folk ain't your kin folk. And I think that we as Black people, this is like you were saying, this is a special time. We need to take advantage of this time. It's like the Metaphor Club is something that, I mean, where was this 2 years ago? You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's a special time, and we need to take advantage of this, because right now people are being honest that we're hiding their feelings, and this is a time for honest conversation. I don't think it's gonna necessarily always be pretty, and I don't think everybody's gonna make it. You know, I don't think everybody's gonna make it in this next one, but it's interesting to see where we draw that line, because I think that's where we haven't agreed on yet. We haven't said, okay, everybody who's on this side, okay, you are black, you are people that deserve to go, and then everybody who's on that side, you're on your own, we'll see you, after the finish line. So
let's hope we never get to that point. I'm not about stealing people blackness. Let people have their stuff. They just can't get on my boat. They can get on a boat.
So I kind of also disagree but agree. I'm also one of those people that I'm for blacks, blacks first, because I'm from the South. And I have definitely been around racism, slavery. I mean, not slavery, but Lord, a little bit slavery, Lord.
That's that 2019.
But definitely been around some racism and some white people just throwing hate towards me just because of the color of my skin. And so when I come out to LA, I see a lot of Jewish communities that support their own before they would support anybody else. I see the Jewish community definitely buying up the jungles, buying up housing and not really giving the housing back to the blacks.
Right.
And I see the black community now trying to step up to buy housing so we can give it back to the blacks. And that's what I see for blacks first, because we're being left out of a lot of situations where we need to be helping ourselves get up to a good point. That's my viewpoint.
I only feel like black first, because I feel like for so long we weren't second or third or nothing, That's why I feel like it's, selfishly speaking, I have to take care of my own first. Because if I don't do it,
I feel like we lent our hand to others to be number one for so long. So why not lend that hand to ourselves?
If you look at it in fashion, no, but if you look at it in, like, for instance, fashion, I do it, it's ghetto.
Right.
Let's be real. If I do it, it's ghetto. Sarah does it, and it's our culture.
Right.
But because like we weren't embracing it as something that's more high class. No one took it seriously, and so we weren't put up there. Somebody again, they're stealing the culture, and then we're not first. But we're the ones doing it first.
Right.
But no one cares to give us that credit.
It's coming to me right now is that you all just say, hey, take care of home first. And I definitely feel like when I listen to like Martin Luther King and all of the people back then, they were definitely like inclusive of everyone. So I agree with like all that stuff, and I just feel like that. If we say, hey, only black people, then we're like the people who like feel like that they're the superior race. And I don't feel like there's a superior race, and I do feel like we've gotten here, a lot, we've done a lot on our own, but each step of the way, there's always been other cultures to help us out, each step of the way. So, and a lot of other cultures, Filipinos and Mexicans, they haven't quite gone through slavery, but they definitely had a tough time in this country as well. So, I'll wrap that up there.
Good point. Jason, you have something?
Just real fast, I'm definitely about a black first mindset. Like if I have a choice between a black business and other business, I'm always going to support the black business. But my one thing is about being able to provide equal service. And that's really usually my thing with supporting black businesses is that, the attitudes that can come with it, or just almost like you should support me as opposed to just providing the same excellence that another, similar organization, whatever would have. So that's the only thing. I'm always going to support black first, but you got to give good service.
Okay. So, quick. Give me 3 things you love about the black culture, and then one thing that you can't stand about
black culture.
About the black culture, yes. 3 things,
Just one black culture.
and then one bad thing that you can't stand. Nikki, go ahead.
One thing I hate about our culture is we don't support each other enough. We talk about it, but
Darn it, that was mine. Go ahead.
I don't feel like we do it enough. It's like, oh yeah, support black businesses, and then for me, I sell and I make luxury scented candles, right? And I see people repost the smallest thing, and then I post like if I drop a new line or if I drop a new scent or if I'm having a sale, I get some love, but it'll be like from DMs, like okay, well repost it or like comment, like you know, show me that love publicly. Don't do it like where nobody can see it, you know,
Right,
like that
right.
makes sense. 3 things I love about our culture is we support each other. Like, if I see you walking down the street and I really like a girl, yes, sis, I don't even know you, and we keep on going.
Right.
Other people just be like, oh, your dress is cute. But it's like the way we give love is no other love unmatched, you know?
Right.
You said 3 things?
3 things.
The second thing I love about us is our versatility. I feel like, I know I said we do have a mask, but I feel like that's a privilege of being a Black person. We can switch it up.
Because Rebecca couldn't do the DMX challenge for sure.
Could not. You know
The different hairstyles.
Shonda, we used to like that one, and he like
The
names a
DMX
whole bunch
song,
of girls' names in the song, and then like girls are like, I got short hair. I got short hair. But I can also throw a wig on this thing, okay? And
That's
I
what
can
I'm
get
saying.
braids, and then tomorrow I'm gonna come with cornrows. And guess what? I'm still the same person. You know, that's what I love about us. And then my last thing I want to say is I feel like we have like a bloodline of trauma, like embedded in our blood already, but yet we still keep going each and every single time. And it's like, I feel like people try to make us be quiet about it, like leave it alone, you know, like get over it. But we don't get over it, but I feel like that pushes us. Like we're greater, we're more, we're something, we're more than our parents, we're more than our grandparents. And that's something that I feel like Black people as a whole, we can always continue to do, because it's like we want better. You see better, you do better. And then you're passing it on. It's like good vibes. I'm going to pass it to everybody.
Cool. I like that.
Thanks.
India.
Oh, okay. I do like that we are versatile, and I like that we come in many different variations, but we're all the same. Like we all come from basically the same thing, but we can be so different, and that's cool to me. Like it's like, you know, you are from where you're from, and you're from LA, and you're from Baltimore, but we all have some like sense of similarities, and I think that's pretty cool. What else? I don't like that we can beat up on each other sometimes, and that doesn't look good as a whole. I feel like, you know, sometimes, like he said that it used to be a corner where everybody got shot up, and, you know what I'm saying, but you shooting each other, and then this guy is running with his poodle, and everybody's scared. Everybody's like, oh man, we got this white dude over here, but you just killed your friend, and it's like, you wasn't scared then.
Right.
Why? Why is that? So I think that's just, we gotta learn to love each other a little bit more in different aspects.
One thing I love about my people is that we embrace each other, and that it doesn't matter, like none of us is beefing with the fact that some of us are from the South, some of us are from the North, or it doesn't matter. We all understand on some.
Aggie.
we all understand on some level that we are united in our struggle, you know, in this country, no matter what neighborhood you grew up in. We all have like that struggle. And one thing I don't like is my main thing about us is that we don't compete with. I feel like a lot of us actually think that the dominant society is better at certain things instead of understanding that it's just about having that competition spirit, you know, like understand like we can go. And that's why I think this is a special time, because we are overcoming that as we speak. And so like even like shows like this, spaces like this, you know, like panels like this, I think more and more this is going to be the norm. And so that's not going to be something I can even dislike for too much longer. So,
Jason.
Okay. Well, 2 in 1. My 2 things I like is our food and music. Those 2 things I like. Thing I dislike is competition amongst ourselves. I really hate that. That's too much going down.
Definitely should be supporting instead of tearing each other down.
Right.
For real.
Things that I really like, camaraderie. Okay. I'm not going to try that again.
Camaraderie. Gotcha.
What I mean by that is like I've lived, I think pretty much in every like major part, like from the South to I guess the South, the East Coast, and now I'm in the West Coast. And pretty much in all those places, anytime like I see a black guy, like I can say like what's up to him. Like although I've changed, like I do more of the downward nod, especially if you get like in reach though, like the handshake, like that's like universal. Like from all the places I've been, so that's really cool. Jason hit on this earlier also when I was at A&T. That really opened my eyes to how versatile and how many different like black people there were. Like just seeing all these different black people from like, I don't know, from the islands, from Africa, just from New York, from like Florida, like all over the place. So that was really cool, and I do love food. The thing that I don't like, because I've been aware of it and around it my whole life, is, and I don't like Americans' culture kind of helped us along, but I feel like our culture specifically has been strengthening it or keeping it alive, like the gang culture or like the gangster culture. Like it has been with America since like Wild Wild West days or before. We have gang cultures now, and it has really torn our community apart from my perspective. And I think the part that's worse about it is like the fact that like I don't know, a lot of people kind of hype up like killing someone, or hype up like being a bad guy or going to jail or something like that. And you're seeing a lot of artists and stuff kind of blow up once something like that happens. So I really hate that part of life, like the endless cycle of like, I don't know, people selling drugs as opposed to like trying to actually make it through the system, like in like the legal way. So sometimes it's a lot of that stuff is like just trying to beat the system, and so I've kind of personally made a transition of going from trying to beat the system to like trying to win in the system, so you don't have to like worry about the cops and all that all the time. So
Okay, AJ.
The thing I don't like about our people, or I can't stand about our people, is the stringent rules we create for Blackness. We won't just let people be different and disagree and have different perspectives. I can't fucks with that shit. That shit is disgusting to me. I'd rather you take your Blackness and jump off a lake if you're gonna have rules for how we can be black. That's just, come on now. What I love about us is just our passion for continuums and connection, from the way we treat our ancestors and revere people who've created things in our societies, to the way we love up our elders and listen to them when they tell them stories that hurt our feelings, to the way we love children and see in them possibilities that we often don't have in ourselves, to the way we love the spiritual world. Like, I just love that all things are connected in and through us.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell mine real quick. What I love about our community, our culture, is that we are very creative. We have the minds to create so many great things. What I hate about our community is that we don't support one another. If I call somebody up and say, hey, I need you for this one quick project, and you are a specialist in that, sometimes you may give me bullshit saying, oh, I gotta do this, or I'll book another job or something like that, and you're not professional compared to the others. If they had a job, we would be quick. Oh, they got that money, let's go do that work. But then we can't help our own black community get better. We could have networks, we could have companies, Fortune 100 companies, but we don't support ourselves. Probably because we are jealous or hate to see somebody else get better or have more money than the others, when not knowing that we can actually share that money to help each other out. So, I thank you guys for joining this panel, for joining this conversation. I enjoyed every last one of your comments. I thank y'all. Until the next show, let's thank the Metaphor Club for allowing us to be here to record this show.
Big brothers.
And Let's support one another's with all our endeavors, our projects, and our businesses. Our
Well, I need some candles.
Okay. All right. Thank y'all. Protect your black and enjoy your life.